What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. And it is Sunday, the 1st of June. The transfer window has indeed opened today. And already, folks, we've got our first of the summer. We've got some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Hopefully first time of many that we're going to be pressing this button. Yes. We have some breaking news indeed, because first day of the window, first signing in the bag. Done. Announcement made by Manchester United. You can see it right here on the screen. We can get it up for you. This is what we're seeing at the moment. We're seeing Matheus Cunha has indeed signed for Manchester United. Manchester United with the following statement in the last couple of minutes saying Manchester United has reached an agreement with Wolverhampton Wanderers to sign Matheus Cunha. The Brazilian's forward's signing is subject to visa and registration. The 26-year-old has 13 senior caps for Brazil and in his club career has made 270 appearances, scoring 72 goals in English, Spanish, German and Swiss top flights. Did it catch people a little bit off guard? Well, they've got some more details on this, just for how long it's for, etc., etc. We've got news coming from The Athletic as well, coming from them. Let me just get rid of this, and I can bring up The Athletic for you as well, so we can discuss and read all of this stuff, because, again, this is breaking and developing news. This is what we do here. You can see right there, that is the Athletic article, and it says Wolverhampton Wanderers have confirmed they've reached an agreement with Manchester United have reached an agreement to sign Matheus Cunha. He signed a 5-year contract at Old Trafford with the option of a further year, while his visa and registration will be completed after returning from international duty this month when the transfer is formalised. So indeed, we've got our first signing on day one. Yeah, day one. And I tell you what, this is first of all, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 195,000 now, getting closer to 200K. Day one of the transfer window, first signing of the transfer window. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't know if you saw the chatter on social media and the rumblings on social media. Look, it's a big summer. Obviously, look, it's a very big summer. It's a very important summer. And it has to be a transformational summer for Manchester United. Players have to get out and players have to come in. But I don't know if you guys saw this. Over the last sort of 24, 48 hours, this a suggestion that maybe those in the Manchester United squad weren't happy that we weren't signing players or we weren't moving quickly enough. I don't even know where to start with that one. I don't know, literally.
Oh, sorry.
What? First of all, there's many different schools of thought in this. First of all, the window's opened today. And as of today, the first day of the window, we have signed someone. That's one. If you're going to compare that to previous years' pacing, literally, the first day of the window, we have signed someone. How is that for pace? And had it not been for Liam Delap turning us down, we'd have probably signed two. Literally, we would have signed two. That's that. If it is true, which who knows if it even is true, but if it is true, on top of that, what did the Manchester United squad have any right to moan about? They're shit. they're shit. So either way, it's just bullshit, isn't it? And Manchester United, I think this was always the plan. People will go spin, PR, this, that, and the other. And it will be, honestly...
Now go home and smoke some more crack.
Because clearly the plan has been day one of the transfer window, today, June 1st. This window is open for 10 days. It's that special transfer window. And then it's going to close. And it's mainly for the Club World Cup, to get people in for the Club World Cup teams. But, of course, anyone can use it. And the plan has always been, we want to get Cunha in by then. We want that. That's got to be done. In the ideal world, it would have been that actually we would have got 2 in at this point. The Liam Delap one, the medical he's having it at Chelsea today, and he'd have been having his Manchester United medical today. I think in an ideal world, they probably wanted to do a double announcement today with it being Cunha and Delap. The Delap one hasn't worked out. So I think this idea that, Man United have been moving quickly enough. What? And now it's when it's going to get really interesting, of course, looking forward for United in this window, because reportedly these are the signings that are going to be made with funds that we've already got, right? We've already got the financial ability to sign Matheus Cunha. We already had the financial ability to sign Liam Delap. Now, obviously, that 30 million, I guess that was put aside, is going to go towards someone else. And hopefully they're going to move quickly on that one too. So now it's when it gets really interesting, because now is the time when you look at United are going to say, right, how proactive are you going to be now in moving players on? Because seemingly the budget that we've got without exits is around that 100 to a sort of 150 million pound kind of range. And then, okay, can you increase on that? It should be increased on exponentially with significant exits. Rashford, Sancho, Anthony. Obviously, we know players that have already left or are leaving through retirement or contracts expiring. Maybe Bruno Fernandes does go 100+ million pounds. Seemingly, he's kind of changing his demands about what he wants regarding this possible move to Al Hilal. Watch that one with a lot of anticipation. Rasmus Højlund could move back to Serie A. Then we're going to other players too that could be on the way out. You never know what could happen with Casemiro, etc., etc., etc. I think last night, when it comes to the Bruno stuff, maybe it opened a lot of people's eyes when it comes to, hey, sometimes you have to make a sacrifice. You sacrifice your best player for the greater good, but do you have the ability to reinvest it appropriately and on the right players? It's not just about moving people on. It's about who you replace them with. That's the critical thing too. That's the critical thing. But in terms of this signing here, and let me know your thoughts in the chat. Let me know your reactions. Get your comments in. Get your super chats in. Let me know your thoughts. Are you happy? Well, first, I suppose there's a couple of questions here. Are you happy with the signing? Are you happy with the pace of this one? I mean, literally first day of the window, it's 2 p.m. and an announcement's been made of the first signing. And what happens next? What do you think happened next? So let me know your thoughts about all of it in the live chat. We'll be live for at least half an hour or so with this one. And this is going to be the pattern, folks. You know how it goes with these transfer windows. There's no real schedule. Later on tonight, 7 p.m., we're going to have a special full view, actually. So stay tuned for that. But with transfer season, this is always the way. Stuff happens. You got to go quick. You got to get stuff up quick. You got to react quick. That's what we're doing here. In terms of the signing, look, I'm actually very happy with this signing. I know that it's the almost sometimes the popular thing to do whenever we sign any player, which is, well, it's not going to make a difference. They're rubbish. They're coming into this Manchester United team. They're going to fail. Inevitably, they're going to fail. And look, I don't say you're wrong. I don't say you're wrong with having that viewpoint, because historically that's happened with a lot of transfers, most transfers at Manchester United. And we do get excited, and then sometimes they don't work out. But look, the past is the past. I think in terms of the formation that Ruben Amorim wants to play, when you're looking for what do we critically need this summer, and you look at recent seasons as well, we need goals. We need goals in this team. We need to create more chances in this team. Obviously, this season under Ruben Amorim, over the last 2 years under Erik ten Hag, we've struggled for goals for many a season now. And that's not to say that we sign Matheus Cunha and all of our goal issues are fixed. No. We've still got a lot of distance to go, because we need another 10. We desperately need a striker that can score goals. And I think then you start focusing on moving backwards. I think you start moving backwards to, okay, goalkeeper for me, that's a top priority signing. Midfielder, we're going to need more in midfield too. And then in and around the team, what happens with the wing backs? Is Ahmad now a right wing back, or do we look to sign another one, etc., etc.? We need more. Man United will not be fixed by one signing, but that's not to put down this Cunha signing as well, because again, you look at his stats this season, 17 goals in the Premier League, 6 assists. That's 23 goal contributions in a Wolves team that for the vast majority of the season did struggle. And it was really towards the end of the season that they really started to pick up wins and became actually a very informed side. I think in terms of, again, the fitting into the system, I think he really works with that. I'm not worried really about the whole discipline stuff. You know, I know, again, what we have to be careful with here is narratives. We have to be careful with narratives because, as is always the case, whenever Manchester United sign any player, the media will immediately get into all the reasons why we shouldn't have signed him and all the reasons why he is going to flop. So the walking stats will come up inevitably. He walks around a lot, walks around a lot. I'm not sure about that. And there'll be, in terms of discipline, he had those flare-ups this season. He had those incidents this season. So, that's probably, he's going to get sent off a lot at Manchester United. That's what it's going to be. He's going to be sent off considerably a lot. He's going to get sent off all the time. The reality is, I think throughout the entirety of his career, the only red card he got was this season. That's it. He had incidents off the pitch, yeah, but his only red card in his career was this season. Be careful what you buy into. Now, would there be maybe a little bit of concern about handling the pressure? Sure, but that's the case for any player, isn't it? That is literally the case for any player that comes in at Manchester United. I'd say that about anyone. Can they handle the pressure? Bruno Fernandes technically got sent off twice this season. We're having the big debate about whether he can afford to lose him or not right now. So I think be careful to go down these sort of narrative alleys, if you will, with he walks, he's going to be trouble. Look, we've had Mavericks before at Manchester United, and they've done very well at Manchester United because really it's on the manager, it's on the coach. Yes, it's on the player. They've got to control themselves as best as they can, but with any signing, it's can the manager get the best out of the player? Can the coaching staff get the best out of the player? So I'm not here for the lazy narratives of, like then he's a loose cannon. He's a loose cannon and he walks a lot. Come on. Let's be better than that. Come on. Let's be better than that. And in terms of the price, is the price maybe a little bit, higher than maybe you would like? Well, look, it's the release clause for a reason, I suppose. In an ideal world, you would maybe get him for maybe sort of 50, and you'd have hopefully most transfers this season be max 50. But I think Manchester United are looking for Premier League proven. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for Premier League proven. Cunha is Premier League proven. That's why they wanted Liam Delap, because he'd had a good season in the Premier League. And also another critical part of this one is this is a move that he wants. This is a move that he wanted, regardless of where we are or how bad we are. It's a move that he wanted. He's a Man United fan. He wants this move. This is his dream move. And frankly, we're fortunate in that regard because if it was based on winning things in Champions League football, we've already lost out on a signing this transfer window based on not having it. We're probably going to lose out on more. Let's be honest. But irrespective of having Champions League or not having Champions League, he wanted this move. This was his dream move. And I don't think it was based around, I can make loads of money at Manchester United. He'll increase his contract because one would expect him to increase his contract going from Wolves to United. But he's not going to become the highest paid player at the club or anything like that. So I don't think it's necessarily about, I'm just going there because they're going to offer me more money than anyone else. And he wants to go there because he's a Man United fan. He's been twerking for a Man United move for the last couple of years. So yeah, I think that can only be seen as a positive too. So look, in terms of an opening signing, I'm very happy with it. I'm happy with the pace of things. It clearly it is not going to be enough. We need a lot more. This has to be not even just the tip of the iceberg. It has to be. I don't know is there anything above the tip, the air above the tip of the iceberg? I'm not sure. That's what it is. Whilst the iceberg is maybe evaporating, the sort of like steam coming off of it. That's what this needs to be, right? There needs to be so much more this summer for Manchester United. If we do get to the beginning of the season and it's like we've only signed Cunha, well, that's a problem. That's a problem. But for now, I'm very happy with this signing. And I'm glad that actually it's just out of the way and done, because I do think that the longer this would have dragged on, even now, really, even at the moment now, it's kind of like a bit over it, because we've known this one's going to happen for a couple of weeks. It was kind of like, when did we get the here we go? We got the here we go a while ago, actually, from Romano, didn't we? And if it really did drag out, it'd be like, So I'm glad that it's done. Obviously, again, it's subject to all of these approvals, and he'll go on holiday. But this will mean that when the Manchester United squad come back for pre-season, day one, he will be there, which again is critical. However, we've been saying this whole, Reba needs time with the players and he needs to do training with the players, this, that, and the other, which I'm kind of like, he's had a lot of time with the players now, but okay, sure, right? He's at the preseason. The critical thing is when we go on that tour, or when we do all of those matches, even before we go on tour to the United States, that we have as many players through the door and out the door as possible by then. We don't have this disrupted preseason. Some players aren't on the tour. Some people aren't coming back. Or, well, this deal is still ongoing, so we can't really get it done till the season starts, etc., etc. No. Time is of the essence. And so far, if you can keep up with this kind of time frame, which they won't be able to because they're not going to have a new signing every single day. Don't get your expectations that high. But in terms of an opening day signing, the day the transfer window has opened, we've got a player through the door. I can only see that as a positive. And it's not like what the signings that we have been making for like 1 million, they won't feature this season. No, this is straight into the starting 11. And actually, it's better than what we've got. It's literally better than what we've got. So this is, I'm very happy with that. If you haven't already, click the like button. We've got closing in on 900 people watching, which is great for an impromptu Sunday afternoon stream. So click the like button. Let me know your thoughts on the signing of Cunha. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Ashley says, apparently he's going to be wearing the number 10 shirt. Any thoughts, Owen? Okay. I mean, I didn't really. I mean, apart from obviously, shirts like the 7 shirt, which I pushed back at the time when Mason Mount got the 7 shirt, and there was this weird push of like, oh, it doesn't really matter. It's just a shirt number. At Manchester United, the number 7 shirt does matter. Of course it matters. Some of our greatest ever players have worn that shirt. You talk about, the Trinity statue, people in that statue have worn that. Like, of course it matters. The number 10, there have been some very impressive and big number 10s at Manchester United. Do not get me wrong. But with numbers of flesh, it's just about, it could be any number he wants, as long as he makes an impact. That's what we're looking for. With all of these signings that are going to be coming in this summer, it's just all about, can you deliver? Can you deliver? You've had a good season at Wolves, a very good season at Wolves. You've been their star player, marquee player. Obviously, it's a different level coming to Manchester United. Not in terms of quality, because Wolves and Man United this season, their level, in terms of quality, it's a parallel move, which is maybe why people would question it from his part, going, have you seen how rubbish United are? But in terms of obviously size, following, pressure, expectation, it's another level. Obviously, it's another level. And like with any player, Cunha's no different than any player that we've signed and always currently at the club or even isn't at the club. Can you handle the pressure? Can you stand up and deliver? Because the majority of the players that are currently at that club have not been able to do that. They can't. You have to be different than them. Can you handle the weight of the shirt on your back? Can you handle the weight of the badge? I mean, I see David Beckham today, or was it yesterday, talking about the behavior of the players on the postseason tour, basically criticizing them for effectively not caring, walking around saying, there's a standard to that badge and there's a pressure that comes with that shirt and you have to uphold it wherever you go. If the match doesn't matter, if you want to be there or you don't want to be there, whatever, it doesn't matter. You carry the weight of it wherever you go, and you have to put on a show for everyone. You have to put on a performance, regardless of if the match is a final or if it's a postseason friendly against Hong Kong. It doesn't matter. There are certain levels. And clearly at Manchester United, with this group of players, with this squad, and I think for the longest time, there is a mentality issue. There is an attitude issue. There is an entitlement that is off the charts with a lot of these players. And I think there's a cultural issue that every so years we think we fix, but actually, clearly, it's only been getting worse and worse. And I do think that you can look at PSG's success last night, and you can look at how they, obviously the biggest players and the marquee players, they tried it, didn't work. It's about the collective. It's about the team. It's not about individuals. It's about the team. And look, last night was also absolutely a case study in supporting a coach. A coach can have a vision, and a coach can have a philosophy, a belief, but it's also about those above backing it. Ruben, has he done enough to deserve that backing? Probably not. Probably not in his time here. But I don't think Ineos have given themselves much choice but to back him, because they've already made a shit ton of mistakes. So they're all in with this one. And I think they've got to be absolutely ruthless, vicious, and cutthroat in moving people on. I think also with the PSG one, let's make no mistake here, it's not an underdog story. They spent a shitload of money. That's that team that was assembled last night, which for me is the best team in Europe at the moment, is a very expensive team. But that also goes back to recruitment. What's been our biggest problem at United for over a decade? Recruitment. It's not about necessarily the players that you move on. It's who do you replace them with? Because the people that they've replaced them with at PSG last night, they've got it right. For the first time in a long time, well, really ever, PSG have got it right in terms of the players they replaced them with. Each single player in that team fits perfectly. The jigsaw connects perfectly. Man United have tried a similar approach. Post Sir Alex, it's been about, hey, let's get some marquee names in. Let's sell some shirts, baby. We've got some debt to pay off. Let's bring in Falcao. Let's bring in Pogba. Let's bring in Ibrahimovic. Let's bring in Di Maria. Bring them all in. Let's bring in Schweinsteiger. Let's get them in. Sanchez, we want to sell some shirts. Got some marquee names. But is it beneficial for the team? Gives a shit about the team. Make it work. Figure it out. No, it's about recruitment. It's about spending money, obviously, but also it's about spending money properly, And if PSG can figure it out, when they were accused for years of just throw money, sign Neymar, sign Mbappe, sign, Messi, sign whoever. They signed Cavani, Ibra. I mean, the list of names, Beckham, the list of names they've had since the Qataris bought them. But now they figured out that actually, yeah, it's about, you can still sign big names. Kvaratskhelia, it's a big name, but it's an even better team member. It's an even better team player. How does it actually fix the team, help the team? That's the critical thing. So that's what Manchester United need to do. It's not about name. It's about how do they fit. And I think in terms of the formation that we play now, regardless of reservations about whether it works, can work, Matheus Cunha fits in and makes that team better. We need goals in that team. We need creativity in that team. Put Cunha in. I know football doesn't necessarily work like that. And I know he's that next season. That doesn't mean, he's going to come in. Is he going to score 17 goals next season? No, and who can predict that? We don't know. But if you're looking at how do we improve that team, you get goals. And you get goals also that have been in the Premier League. Because we tried, Rasmus Højlund, 9 goals in Serie A for Atalanta, and went, he'll score 15, 20. No. No. Cunha, great start. Next up, I need that right 10. We've got this left 10 here. Great. Happy with that. Very happy. Like I said, very, very happy. But now we need that right 10. Now, is it Mbeumo? I hope so. Again, I think that one's going to be obvious. I think most signings are going to be more difficult than the Matheus Cunha one this summer because Cunha wants it and he didn't want anything else. Mbeumo, he might be a bit more open where he's like, Champions League football. It looks like that price is around 50, 55. Newcastle are in. I did see some reports from some Northeast journalists suggesting that Newcastle might be leading the race because of having Champions League. It's a similar situation to the Liam Delap one. If we had won that Europa League final, would it be different? Probably, possibly. But I think now all eyes are turning to, right, And Bumo, and if United don't think that one is possible, find someone else. Find someone else. What we've got right now is not enough. We need to be ruthless. We need to get deals done, and that's what they're doing thus far. Raheel with the super chat says, I just feel no positivity with the club anymore. Regardless of who we sign, I won't feel confident or optimistic next season. How about you, Owen? I've spoken about this a lot recently, Raheel. And look, I totally understand that point of view. And I'm certainly not going to be one of those people to say that you're not allowed to be negative, because I've been negative for the last 12 months. And I've had people tell me that I'm not allowed to feel like that. And nobody's allowed to tell anyone how they're allowed to feel or how they're allowed to support, right? So I'm definitely not going to be one of those sort of emotional gatekeepers. You can't be like this. You can't be negative and you can't be positive either. If you're feeling at the worst about Manchester United at the moment, you're entirely right to. Look at the shit show that is this club. Look at the season we've just have. But I suppose it's about your individual personality of how you're going to cope, or how you're going to, maybe not cope, but move on. I'm at the stage now where I've felt so negative for so long. And if I do look at things logically, which I often do, try to look at things logically. That's why I clashed with KG quite a few times this season over it. I feel like at some stage, you've got to move on. And it's not even like based off what the Ruben speech and the good times are coming, because my goodness me, that quote's going to be weaponized in the same way that Eric Ten Hag era's come to an end was weaponized on him towards the end of his tenure. The good times are coming. If it doesn't work out for Ruben, then obviously it'll be good times are coming. Good times are coming. That will be weaponized. But last season happened. It's done. And I suppose we can do two things. We can dwell on it and continuously look back and go, yeah, we're terrible. We're cooked. We're rubbish. And who knows, that might continue this coming season. Logic would suggest that maybe it will. But at the same time, it's done. It's over. The only thing you can do is move on. And the only thing you can do, I think, for me anyway, is look ahead and just hope. And it is hope that people there are going to try and fix it and it's going to get better. I can't tell you whether or not to believe that you should believe it or you shouldn't believe it. That's just me. The reason I'm feeling positive is because I'd have to watch Man United play for a while, because those postseason friendlies were very depressing. But it's been a depressing 12 months, isn't it? So I'm just like, look, I've been waiting for this season to end for a long time. So now that it's ended, I'm happy that it has. I need players to come through. And I think also if the mentality was taken, basically no player's going to fix this or no sign is going to fix this, then you would go into flex territory or then shut the club down. Because if you can't even try because you know you're doomed to fail, then really what's the point? I suppose you've got to, you've got to at some point just keep trying. It's a low bar, isn't it? It's a very low bar, and it's a tough bar, because when you've been beaten down over and over and over again, sometimes you don't want to get back up. And it's understandable that you wouldn't want to. You just go, look, I'm here on the ground. I'll just stay here on the ground. But you just have to keep getting back up. Keep getting back up over and over and over and over again. And you've got to just keep trying, haven't you? You've got to keep trying. So the reason I'm feeling better, more positive, isn't necessarily because of this signing. I'm feeling positive just because the season's over. The season's over and we get a break. You get a break from the relentlessness of it all. And like KG said, you have a while to, become delusional again. And that's better than nothing, isn't it? Then I think that's kind of where it's at. But certainly, like I said, if people want to feel negative on it, Man United or what have you, then they're completely right to. I don't know about feeling negative for this signing, because I think irrespective, it's a good signing. It is. We're getting a phone call from Fleckington. Mr. Fleck, you're live in your own channel.
Yes, mate.
We signed a player, mate.
Say that again?
We signed a player.
Oh, we signed a player?
Yeah, that's why I called you. I'm live at the moment. Matheus Cunha signed for Manchester United.
Oh, well, I'm coming right on now, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, how long you been on?
I've been live about 30 minutes, mate. It was announced about 47 minutes ago. You're kind of KG-ish at the moment.
That's crazy. I'll see you in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Little highlight of how it works behind the scenes at United View. You know what I mean? Fortunately, I've got keys to the castle. You know, it's how these things work. I do what I do usually. This is what happens in transfer season. When this stuff happens, I call Flex, and if you know me well, I don't do phone calls. Like I don't. I don't call people. There's only a few people I take calls from. I'm a messenger, a voice noter. That's it. I don't do phone calls. If I call Flex, then he knows something serious is going on. I called him once, and if it rings through, because Flex has got like a long sort of call thing. His doesn't go to voicemail quickly. If it rings through, I'm like, he's busy. Then I'm like, right, I'm going. And actually, with this, I did happen to be at my desk at the time. I had just recorded a video for my channel, Wrestling News 365. Be sure to subscribe on the road to 25K. And and I went, oh, I guess that one's not going up just yet. I think that one, I guess I'm going live instead beforehand. So stay tuned for that one, because that'll be dropping fairly soon. But this is transfer season. This is what happens in transfer season. You always have to be on. You're on call. Yeah, you're on call. Transfers can happen at any point. There wasn't. What was quite interesting as well, there wasn't a lot of sort of hints, was there, that it was going to get announced today? There had been chatted that there was he was doing a medical. That was happening. Let me just take myself out of this. And there you go with the watch caller. Now, this is a good question, Owen. Is he actually going to go in this right? Because you changed this the other day. I'm not very confident. I can change on the fly. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, okay.
I thought so. I changed this because we've got so many different channels now. Like
we do. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
That's a football flex one. Let me go with what you call it. I can do it fast though. I can do it fast.
Of course you can.
These things.
Because Owen just the what you call it on the thingy of the Doctor Strange of just moving all the things around and just just done. Just done. And I'll tell you what I'll even do to match it. I'll get the other background. There you go. 'Cause I've got two. There you go. Look at that. I mean,
not bad.
It's just not a thing, really.
No.
Going on the buttons.
Done.
It's not a thing, you know.
Get these things done. Yeah. Let's sign a player, mate.
What have I missed?
I was just explaining to the UV community what tends to happen in transfer windows, which is stuff happens. I'll call Flex, and Flex knows if he's got a missed call from me, something's happened, because I don't do phone calls.
No, you don't.
I don't call people.
You don't. But what you do, the reason why I didn't know what was going on is because I've seen my. Yeah, exactly. Normally, you'd send through player X or things happen. Then, if you don't hear from me from that, you'll ring. So, because I've seen my phone and haven't seen any messages from you or anything, I didn't see any messages.
I had to go because I was a little bit behind. I was a little bit behind because I was actually recording a video for my channel, and then I finished it and I looked at my phone and went, a lot of people are tweeting at the moment. What's going on with that? What's going on with that? And I saw it and I was like, oh shit. So it was a mad rush. But we got there in the end. Cunha has indeed signed for Manchester United. The fee is a £62.5 million. It is a 5-year contract. Of course, there are, the usual things that Manchester United say.
What's the thing?
It's subject to visa and registration. He's on he'll be going on international break shortly as well, etc., etc. But it's a very short statement from Man United saying everyone at United looks forward to welcoming Matheus to Old Trafford. But I was just also saying, Flex, I was, typical me. I was having a bit of a whinge. And I know you did the same thing in your Flex's View video yesterday.
Yeah.
That the bullshit that was Flex, we're not moving fast enough. There are some in the squad that are not happy that the Man United moving fast enough. It's day one of the window. We signed a player.
And this ain't a shock. This is not.
And they would have wanted
2 days ago. We didn't know.
Yeah,
we knew.
And they would have been. And also as well, this is my other hypothesis. They would have probably wanted this to be a double announcement. They would have wanted
it would have been.
Delap
said yes, it would have been.
He's having his Chelsea medical now, so there was So this would have been a double announcement today, but we're not moving fast enough, Flex.
Well, but this is what I mean. Like, it's not. That's just fake. It's just
of all the things to whinge about. You know what I mean? There's a lot. That ain't one of them.
Because obviously, there's people saying that the players are saying that they're not moving fast enough. I'm like, listen, these players have been criminals all year, but I don't think they're that thick to be like, we ain't got no one whilst we're on this postseason tour in Kuala Lumpur. It's an all-time low. We ain't got no one. Where's the players? No, that's just bollocks. Like, let's just be real. That's just total bullshit. That's just trying to just stir up some stuff because it's like, oh, we haven't got the player we know we're definitely going to get. We try, and fair play, Chris. You're saying, I'm glad we didn't get Delap. That's a whole different thing of whether he's the right signing or not.
Yeah.
But literally, before the window was open, Man United were about to have 2 players. They presented the project to Liam Delap. It was down to him, as did loads of other teams put their cases down. We knew already, we'd already had a here we go from what's going on with Matheus Cunha. So we knew he was always going to come. We knew he was getting Matheus Cunha before we even played in the Europa League final. We've known that for ages. Talk about trying to rip it up.
Remember Rob Dawson said, he went, well, in terms of the Delap thing, they did have the entire framework of a deal agreed. They told Ipswich will pay the release clause. They had a contract agreed with Delap's representatives. It was just a case of who does Delap want to go to?
Yeah,
and
it's all down to him.
He just decided Chelsea, and he's having a medical today. So I think the intention from United for the last, you're right, probably like 6 weeks has been that on June 1st, we want to announce at least a player, maybe 2.
Bro, and listen, I know we've had a shit season, the worst ever, and we all just want to keep, we all realised fairly quickly, and I realised after having my whinge and moan and tantrum about from Bilbao. Yeah, by the time I got to after the Villa game is when everybody showed me, Flex, we've got to move on. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I know we've all had a mad season, but anyone that was claiming sort of, but look at us, man, see this club ain't serious, we haven't even signed anyone yet. It's all time low. Players are pissed off that you're just chatting shit.
Who has? Actually, who has? In the Premier League, I mean, Liverpool have announced a signing. Now we've announced a signing.
Yeah, Arsenal already done a here we go from Zubimendi.
Yeah, but it's not, they haven't announced it. They announced it.
Exactly. Trent or Real Madrid done the Trent one, kind of thing.
Yeah, like,
it's not.
It's not to say, look, if we get to start the season and this is the only signing we make, then you go bloody hell. You can moan then because we need. This should be first of 7 or 8. We need. It probably won't be. It'll probably be first of 5 or 6, perhaps. But the reason to get this done as quickly as possible is because the real focus is going to be on moving a lot of players on, because these are deals we can do regardless. We can sign Cunha for 62.5 million regardless. We could have signed Delap for 30 million regardless. So there's 30 million there still to spend, clearly on possibly a striker. Depends on who that will be. But then the focus is going to be, right, what are we doing with Rashford? What are we doing with Anthony? What are we doing with Sancho? Is that going to happen now at Chelsea? What are we going to do with Rasmus Højlund? What are we going to do with Onana? What are we going to do with Bayern Deer? What are we going to do with Casemiro? All of those players that we're talking about there, the hope is going to be to move them on and then have, what we're going to do with Bruno. Is that Bruno one going to happen? If it does, that's a lot of money. Because then that is when they can go, right, we can actually get quite a lot of players here with this. We can actually fund a move for a lot. And I think the hope is, particularly in the case of Bruno, that will be done in about a week's time. Either way, which one happens, if what Ben Jacobs was saying, that offer's going to be off the table in a week. So, and the window's only open for 9 more days.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we're saying they don't, that's why they're putting pressure on him. If they don't get him in that time, they have to spend this money. I mean, Central State Fund is going to be like, we gave you this amount of money to spend. You didn't spend it on Salah. Where's your marquee signing, mate? And then the other clubs are going to be like, we're giving them this money. We could have used it. So, it's interesting to see. But yes, back to Matheus Cunha again. We've always known this was going to happen, and it's like we don't want to give too much praise because we're operating at an all-time low. But the minimum, to me, I see it. The minimum when you have a season as crap as we've had, the minimum you have to be doing is signing players quick, going after your targets. Omar Barada, very strategically, he didn't just end up on MUTV at halftime for no reason. That's PR to address the fans and let them know what's going on. He's not contractually obliged to give an interview at halftime in Kuala Lumpur, is he? But he did it. Why did he do it? Because they need to say something. And yes, you can say, some people again moaning that he was saying this, moaning, oh, he doesn't look, he's just talking bollocks, or it's hard to believe him. Is again just being negative. But at the end of the day, what's he supposed to say? Like, we want to hear from these people, outline what you're going to do. They have to show intent. And that's what I was going to go back to. It's not, I'm not showing blind faith in that. You have to prove it to me. But the minimum they should be doing is this. Like, otherwise, we'd be like, well, there's no signings very, very quickly. No one's come out to even state what they're doing. I can't, in the words of Owen, can't talk out to both sides of my mouth, right? I can't be like, they need to fix this. I don't trust them. There's no clarity. What's going on? We ain't signed no one. We've just finished 15th. It's the worst ever. Amorim's lucky to be in. I can't say that on the left side of my mouth. Then on the right side of my mouth, go, well, I want them to come out. I want them to tell us what's going on. I need Omar Barada to speak. I need players in early. Before the window even starts, I want to see someone here. I want to see us going after targets that are within the league, good players that make sense. And then they do it. And then I'm like, Omar Barada doesn't look comfortable. I heard that the players ain't happy because we ain't signed no. Can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. You just look like an idiot.
Always signing. Flex was signing two young players. Cunha, he's 26. I mean, he's heading it. He should be now into prime years. Scored 17 goals in the Premier League this season. Now, in terms of quality, like I said earlier on, actually, Wolves to United right now, there's a lateral move. It's not an up move in terms of quality. It's a lateral move, but it's getting someone that has scored goals, which we need. Oh my goodness me, we need goals in our team. Not just this season; we've needed them for the last few years. But it won't be the only signing. Clearly, it's not going to be the only signing of the summer. I mean, I'm just reading Mike Keegan here. He's saying that Man United want another striker, which we knew, obviously being Liam Delap. Yeah. They want a midfielder. They want another number 10. And he even says that with Brentford's Brian Mbeumo being linked as well. So clearly, those links to Mbeumo are very, very real, very concrete.
We'll get Mike Keegan on again as well, guys, coming up.
Yes.
He's been wanting to come back on for a little while, actually. And we've been trying to make it happen, so we'll get Mike back on.
Yeah, and I did see some reports from some Newcastle journalists in the Northeast sort of saying that, Newcastle believe they might be leading the race again because of Champions League football. But it's maybe not as cut and dry as but it's maybe not as cut and dry as the Delap one, where that, it's going to be the deciding factor. He's definitely going to be open. And Brentford have also said that, I think Thomas Frank said they would be open to offers this summer around 50 million. So it's now on those people like, Christopher Vavel,
get to work,
Reeves and others, earn your money. I mean, I did even see something as well about the suggestion that because of Vavel's links previously to Leipzig, that they're like, well, we don't consider ourselves completely out of the race with Benjamin Šeško because I signed him in the past. Well, that's what that was suggestion. I signed him once before. That's my link. Yeah. And that, to be honest, that for all of these players, that's the only thing we got going for because we don't have this deal is straightforward to do in terms of the Cunha one because he wanted to move to Manchester United. He was like, I don't want to go anywhere else.
I'm not sounding out. I haven't got a lot. He probably had offers, but he made it clear to not even sit down and go.
Not interested.
Let me hear from all four of you, and I'll decide. My agent. I want to go there. Get me there.
That's the one.
That's the one I want. Ignore everyone else. Make it happen. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
That's the one I want.
So much either.
All the other deals, they won't be like. All the other deals, they won't be like that. There will be right. Okay, let's talk. Convince me. Convince me. And with United, we can't really do that monetarily as well. So it's going to be convince me, make me believe, and that's what they've got to do. So those things like Vavel going, well, look, I know Benjamin Šeško. I signed him at Leipzig, so I've got an in there. That's why we tried with the Gyökeres. Like there's people saying about the Gyökeres one, wasn't it? It was Ben said to you, didn't it? The only thing with Gyökeres that we've got going for us is Ruben Amorim knows him.
That's that counts. It counts for something. It doesn't always count for everything, and it doesn't make things signed, sealed, and delivered. Because look at us. I think if we were in the Champions League, that conversation would have been completely different. Believe it or not, we would have been competing with Arsenal for the signature of Gyökeres. Legitly, even though we would have finished 15th, way away from Arsenal, nowhere near Arsenal's level in terms of quality of team. But in terms of the player being attainable, we got Champions League football. We're in the same destination as Arsenal. I know it don't count for as much as usual, but we are Man United. And Ruben Amorim helped give you this platform to be this player. You know what I mean? So it would have been very interesting, but it is weird, because There's big money moves on the table, right? It's, Šeško and obviously Delap's going to Chelsea. Because I always kind of thought that Chelsea would enter the chat with Champions League just for the big boys, and maybe they still might. We wouldn't put it past Chelsea because out of Gyökeres and Šeško, Arsenal not have a free run at both, but it looks like they're sort of deciding which way to go. It appears they're leaning more towards Šeško, isn't it? Isn't that the latest news with them? They're leaning more towards him.
What with Arsenal?
Yeah, it's leaning more towards
Arsenal
Šeško.
leaning towards Šeško. And the interesting one was
which would be Gyökeres free, but then what does he do? Like,
when you did that interview with Ben Jacobs, he actually quite interesting because I didn't really know this. Dispelled the myth that Osimhen preferred Chelsea over going to Saudi. Yeah. He was like, well, actually, no, it was the other way around. It was, if anything, he was going to Saudi, but the Tony thing happened, and basically the Napoli president kind of switched it up on the Saudi negotiators, which they weren't happy with. And actually, Osimhen, that might have been seen as a backup. So Osimhen still could, obviously, he's going to probably move this summer, but he might still get the move that he wants to 100%. Saudi.
I know, no disrespect to Galatasaray. Oh, Owen's done his little freezing thing again, where his voice is going to be perfect, but he's not here. Or actually,
it just popped up. It just popped up for a second.
Yeah, it's on its
way
back now.
I'll come back.
Coming back. It's doing its thing. The timer's gone all fuzzy. It's fine. It's on its way. There you go. You're nearly back. You're nearly back, mate.
You know, before me as well. You said, "Oh, he's doing that thing," and then it popped up afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it popped
I'm ahead of the curve.
Then
you're just back.
And now I'm back. That's it.
Yeah. Weird.
MA says O needs the M4. I've got a very powerful one. And a good computer. Hey, nice.
He does. And look, he's back. He's back.
There you go.
Pause.
Come on.
I forgot what I was saying.
About Osimhen and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that was it. No disrespect to Galatasaray. But that's why everyone was like, he's gone to Galatasaray. Exactly. Because he was like, I need a club. Like, let me just...
Yeah.
And he's gone there, taking the piss out of the league. And then he's going to get a move somewhere, because obviously he was only on loan in Galatasaray. So, might get his move to Saudi that he wants. So that was it. Back to the Šeško thing, or the Gyökeres, sorry. One of them's not going to get that big move to, say, Arsenal. So where does, if it's Gyökeres who doesn't go to Arsenal, Liverpool could go after him. There's talks of them going for Ekitike for big money. They could see an opportunity to get Gyökeres. Where else could Gyökeres go? Nowhere else really in the Prem. Obviously, can come to Man United, but I mean, in terms of like Champions League and stuff like that, Chelsea could try and go get him as well.
I saw Barcelona. They sort of actually ruled themselves out. Basically, I saw Deco go. We like Gyökeres, but we've got Lewandowski, so we're not going for a striker. Basically,
not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to see. Could we still dare to dream? Could we still, because actually on the striker, like, it's great we got Matheus Cunha, but as soon as that Delap thing didn't work out, a lot of people were kind of relieved or not too fussed, right? Because they're like, if I'm honest, wasn't really feeling that one anyway, which is fine, but we haven't really heard of any link. The striker thing is like, there hasn't really been any other ones linked yet.
No, like I said, there's
not really been anything.
The only one that was really, post Delap was the Šeško stuff to sort of suggest that, and again, I think that was coming from like Germany, maybe but it was it wasn't concrete, but it was this thing of, well, don't consider United out the race for that one, because they do have an in there with Vival. But like you said, when it comes to Arsenal, I think that's much more. They feel like they're leading the race, and they feel like they've done the legwork for like 2 years on that deal. They feel like they've tried to get him for quite some time. Interestingly, as well, Darmesh on Sky has also just commented on this Bruno Fernandes situation, saying there's no official offer from Al Hilal for Bruno Fernandes yet. It's thought United would only weigh up any potential offer for Fernandes if he communicated to the club that he wants to leave. Now, it's been quite interesting listening to some of the Saudi reports on Bruno in the last 24, 48 hours, because the sort of latest would suggest, like, again, he's still weighing up this offer, but he's asking for more from from Al Hilal and the Saudi PIF, which is basically, I think they've offered him like a 4-year contract, and he says, I want a 3-year contract and I want more money. In addition to that, I think there's obviously his family aren't too keen on the move, But then I suppose when you explain the money on tap, if he gets what he wants, then how can you be unhappy with that? I suppose. So there's still, I think Bruno's still of the mindset. Look, if you can really, really blow me out of the water here, then who am I to say no?
How can I say no?
But from United's perspective, they're like, well, and Bruno, obviously, look, we want to keep you. We're relaxed about it. But if you come to us and say, you want to go, then we will let you go. They want to be the good guys in this situation. I feel like they're waiting to be put into a corner. They don't want to tell their captain that they want him to leave. They want their captain to want to leave, basically. And then it will get into negotiating a fee, which could be anything, like Ben Jacobs was saying to you the other day. But that one, I mean, it's going to be all Bruno next week, isn't it? That's going to be the one next week.
It's going to dominate until we get to that Friday and he has rejected them so we can move on, or just left them on red. Then it's going to be completely dominated by Bruno. I know you probably covered it all, but just for me to just add in, from my perspective, just like the fact that we have got Cunha, I have to stress, away from all the noise and now he's our player. I am actually really excited by this. I know we've kind of all agreed with it and we just want to move on to the next one. But actually when it's that player's announcement video, not a video, but their time where the club has actually, it's like it should be his time. And listen, we've been stung many times, guys. I get it. We have. All we can go on. But don't be afraid to just say how it actually makes you feel if it's positive, because we're scared of doing that. I'm like, listen, man, he's wicked. I've seen him loads of times, seen him on the eye test, seen him up in person many times, home and away. And I'm like, he's proper, man. This is exactly the type of player we do need. But I know what this establishment represents. I know what happens here. Yeah. The best of the best can come in. The guys who look great in other teams, they come in, all of a sudden we go, what's happened to him? Can't get past anyone, can't get shot off, can't, But I'm trying to just leave that there. Him, the player, the attributes, the profile, the age, the experience, the output, the mentality, the character. I like it all. And how it can fit into the team. You're talking instant left 10, no problem. You know what I mean? Whether Ruben, what I do think is whether Ruben has a few tricks up his sleeve that we might not know about. Even with the likes of Mbeumo or Cunha, I mean, could we see one of these guys go up front in this new look? I don't know. I know, pound for pound right now, that doesn't make sense. You go, you get Cunha, you put him in left 10, it's exactly where he plays for Wolves. But you don't know what we're able to get. You don't know what type of conversations are going on. They might say, well, actually, out of the strikers that are available, none of them are as good as we kind of need them to be. And secondly, we can't afford any of the others, but we can spend that money on this attainable goalkeeper for 40 million, 30 million. We'll get him if you're willing to work with that up there. We go, all right, I'll take that option. We just don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, things just happen where the number 9 that we all know that we need, it might be that, like, it's something we just didn't expect. And it might be like, they did go and get Mbeumo, and it meant that actually Xerxes kind of back up. Bruno's in the left 10. You've got Mbeumo on the right 10. You've got Cunha up front. And then
Cunha's
it's just
a false 9.
Cunha's
a false 9.
Do you know what I mean? It just sometimes I'm just saying, also have that at the back of your head. What's logical to us is Rasmus has been terrible. You came back with Joshua Xerxes to help him. He wasn't a striker. Go and get an out-and-out 9, a proper 9. And we just tried to get one in Delap. So that proves we are trying to. But now that hasn't happened, you just don't know which way the window's going to go. They might say Mbeumo's too good to pass off. Like, we can't not be in the race for that, even though that's 2 10s. Like, all right, we'll have a look at it. Maybe Xerxes starts as like the false 9, like, he's not going to get you loads of goals, but the belief is because you got Mbeumo, because you got Cunha, because you got Bruno back with another midfielder. Because
your 2 10s can be strikers.
Exactly.
Maybe in this, can drop back a little bit. You know what I mean?
It's interchangeable. Maybe we get the sort of, we're looking at PSG last night, Owen, on the Football Flex, going, look at this.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Dembele go, stop playing up here, false 9, mate. Let me go into the 6 and pick the ball up. Let me go into the right 10 and pick the ball up. Let me go into the left 10 and pick the ball up. Is where Dembele was playing. A Serbi, bless him, 37 years old, didn't know what was going on. Hakimi was up front sometimes. Doué's up front sometimes. Flipping, you had Fabian Ruiz sometimes going one forward just to occupy space and just rotation. So we don't know what this final thing is going to look like with Ruben because it's been so shit. But the overall thing, when you can't get that player and is to be adaptable with the recruitment, and you play and go, didn't quite get the actual number 9, couldn't afford Gyökeres, couldn't afford Sesko. couldn't afford Osimhen. Mateta didn't really want to come. Time was ticking. So we went, right, you know what? We've got a new goalkeeper. We've got a proper central midfielder. We've got 2 new 10s, but some of them can play up front and we go from there. You know what I mean? You just don't know.
Yeah, well, and also, and you mentioned about liking the signing, and this was something I said before you came on, that I do think as fans, we have to be cautious to not fall into some of the traps set by the media or those, you know, because we've seen them already going, hey, Flex, he walks quite a lot. And Flex, you know, discipline. You go, well, his only first red card in his career actually came last season. He's only ever had one. Yeah, but discipline. You go, well, we've had Mavericks at United before. You know, exactly. So all of that stuff really doesn't matter. The walk-in, he's going to be trouble. It doesn't matter if, you know, it will begin to matter if he's not a good signing. If he doesn't deliver, then people will look to why isn't it working out? Why isn't he doing well? Why is it this, that, and the other? Why is he underperforming? It'll be because of that. The critical thing is if he comes in and he gets the level of goals he got at Wolves and contributes to the team, people won't care. They won't. I mean, you could argue that even, maybe that's not true because Bruno does that and we still care. But my point is...
but we're rubbish, though.
The point, yeah, exactly. The point is if he does well, you know, then all that stuff, just ignore it.
Exactly. Kay says PSG won with no striker starting. Just fluid football. You never know what to expect with Mendes and Hakimi scoring goals as forwards. We need that. And that's what I mean. It's not something we'd like try to dare to aspire to. We know how bad we are.
We need a better midfield to do that. That's the other thing is they have 100%. A very fluid front three, but they've also got 3 behind them that are fluid all over the pitch.
Which is why I keep saying it. I'm blue in the face. Like I was talking to HP yesterday, and Harry was like, "Man, Vitina is just." Well, I said, "It's funny you said." And just sacked. Breaking news. Is it?
I haven't seen that.
Is that real?
Spurs. Is that just ahead of the?
I think it's just people just
Cup. Yeah.
What do you mean?
No,
no I think
no,
because I've seen him trending, but it's not.
Yeah, there's nothing on Spurs. Is fake news.
Fake news. But also, we wouldn't be shocked, would we?
No,
wouldn't be shocked. Back to what I was saying. Yes, we need the midfielders, man. We honestly, that was it. I'll speak to HP and just sharing the same sentiment. I see a lot of posts yesterday as well, just about Vitina, you know, because it's like, I was saying on Football Flex, guys, if you didn't see it, I was just saying, nah, man, listen, Doué and listen, Dembele, amazing, Kvaratskhelia. There's something about what Vitina is doing here. I'm just locked in. It is beautiful.
Yeah. Like I remember you going like, I don't care if people call it glazing or whatever. I don't care. He's playing unbelievable. He's playing, and I know it's boring. I know I'm saying it's boring, but he's good, all right?
And like just the way he moves, the way he runs, the way he takes the ball, his touch, his style. I could just watch it all day. And it's like that. The fact that it's a rarity makes me sad. It makes me sad because, like I say, I think that all central midfielders should have a level of like basics, like pass forward, not just sideways and back. Be brave, can run through the thirds, tenacious, want to win the ball back when you haven't got it. Like you can be specialists in certain areas of midfield, but I just think, yeah, man, you need players like that, more players. João Neves is the same, you know what I'm saying, but Vitinha more so. But yeah, like Crunk King says there, Vitinha, Neves and Ruiz work together perfectly. And they do. It's about building that. And so back to my point, if we get the top end of the pitch right, this is why KG was sort of saying, nah, man, Ugarte, what is that? He kind of quite likes him and just thinks, nah, I think for me, I'm not just, you know, I had Casemiro. Ugarte posted.
Yeah.
Ugarte posted.
Congratulating the team. Being like, oh, wow.
Oh, did he? Well, yes. I know why everyone was like, so I'm just going to congratulate
you. You could imagine, literally everyone was like, yeah, you know.
Yes, you can see why.
Yeah.
And you know, like, but then this is what I mean. You look at our recruitment as though, and you do have to look at it and you go, and I was part of it, you know, this is what we have to realize. I was like, we need someone who can win the ball back. We do, which that's what he can do. But it's at the expense of the other side of the game. And like we spent quite a significant bit on him when he obviously can't get into PSG. And you go, what did we get for that? Not a disgustingly horrible player, but just limited. So unless next to him is not going to be Casemiro or not going to be Bruno, that type of central midfielder, it needs to be someone like Vitinha that's actually next to him, ironically. Do you know what I mean?
It was funny. Just like you look at the cut where he post basically said, "Look, congratulations," and he quote tweeted it, and the replies were, someone says, "You deserve a medal. Your departure was vital to their victory."
Oh no!
Because they obviously used the Ugarte money to get Neves, and it was like,
it's just so rude, isn't it? It's just rude out there on the streets.
Yeah,
it's
not the one. On this Ange stuff, by the way, for those that care, basically the journalist Sasha Tabatleri, who recently has been, he was one of the first people on the Bruno to Saudi story. He's been first on a few things. Is saying in the last few minutes that he's been told that Tottenham have decided to sack Ange Postecoglou. Thomas Frank is reportedly leading the race to replace him. Mario Silva is also on the list to replace him as well. But that's him. That's going with that at the moment. I don't know if anyone else sort of, big, like the Ornsteins or your Romanos have gone with it. Yeah. I'm sure they're doing picking up their phone right now going, is this
who is this guy? I should have I'm just looking at him now. He's got 144,000 followers. In addition to that, he was one of the people that called the Bruno story. I think he called another story recently. I forget what it was. Quite a few people do follow him. Darmesh follows him.
Yeah. So recently,
Jana Fjortov.
Yeah, he has been big
Harry
on a couple
Simu,
of stories recently. He's right. I think he's I want to say black Belgian journalist, maybe.
Ornstein follows him. Jamie Jackson, Ben Jacobs, Simon Peach.
Yeah.
Means he's obviously a credible journalist. Like just to be followed by like other credible people, but
then it's one of those ones where it's like, why would he know? Out of everyone.
Yeah,
but maybe he's gone early. Maybe he's gone early.
Yeah,
it was one of those.
See if it sticks in it. See if your pasta's ready.
Yeah.
There you go. Exactly. All right, people. We're good. Yeah, big up. Yeah. Little surprise live today. It's a surprise for even me. We have signed Matheus Cunha. Oh, was there talks about? We knew already. Just quickly, the number 10 shirt. Was there anything more that came out about that? It was just.
Not really, but the suggestion is going to be that he's going to be the 10, and obviously if he is the 10, that means Rashford's not coming back.
Yeah, exactly, not coming back. Yeah, we'll see how it goes with what number he gets, guys. But yes, first player through the door. Don't believe any of the hype or propaganda of like, oh, we're not the people just miserable. We are getting people, but this is
first
one
day.
Through the door.
We did.
Yeah, first day. But let's be honest though, it is just one.
More. Yeah,
and let's go and get more, and let's see some links start intensifying because we haven't heard anything about striker now, and Brumo's the only one left of like a tangible, proper, cemented link. So unless it's going to be breaking news coming up soon, then we'll have to.
I got to press the button. It's the first button, first breaking news button for the summer transfer window, and many more to come. Hopefully.
Many more to come. Many more. All right, peeps. We'll be back later on this evening, 7 p.m. With the full view. So yeah, make sure you guys tune into that, and thanks for watching. Big up to each and every single one of you. See you this evening. Peace.